Hi there, Joseph Samuels here, and today I'm just going to introduce to you the Stack Health Mandala. So, this particular tool is what I use as part of the CSD framework, and CSD stands for Conscious Stack Design. It is a culmination of around 15 years of observing multiple digital ecosystems from startups all the way up to corporate and government, and it is a framework that is designed for an era where AI is accelerating the tool sprawl, the digital overwhelm that many are feeling more and more. And so this particular tool, the Stack Health Mandala, essentially takes a process that I already do with clients, but it provides a visual for what is actually going on with your own stacks and even substacks. So looking at what you see on the screen right here is essentially the top view or visualization of a single stack, right? And this is a tech stack. In the CSD framework, we have a 5-3-1 rule, and this applies to any goal or scenario that has a specific stack related to that. There's of course going to be a set of tools that are related to the goal or scenario. Using the 5-3-1 rule, we essentially state that in order to keep this as optimized as possible, we keep 5 categories or substacks, 3 tools max per category or substack, and 1 anchor tool. Okay? Now, what this visual does is it provides you a way to see the health of that stack. Okay? And we start at the micro level because if we were to get to the macro, it might, create more overwhelm for you. But this is essentially where I start with everybody in the sort of stack mapping process or the conscious stack design process. And the inspiration behind this has everything to do with how tools essentially mirror our consciousness. And why I believe that is because I've essentially seen it and experienced it. And our tools essentially don't lie about us. And this is why so many large tech companies mine our data, because they know this, but we haven't really had a way to see our own stacks or get a feel for just how valuable these pieces of data or even how these tools and their interactions are influencing and impacting us on a day-to-day basis. So CSD is part of helping you to overcome that. All right. So with any given stack, right, what ends up happening is we have essentially these 5 layers. Okay. So imagine that these layers are substacks. And let's say that my goal is to build a website using AI. There might be 4 to 5 steps in that process. Layer 1 might be, okay, I need to ideate. And I might use various tools from ChatGPT to Gemini to Claude, a lot of different options. And most people are jumping between all these tools just on that one layer, right, when they're going through the process. So what will happen is I'll gather this information and then I will essentially rate the combination of those stacks and whether or not they are fragmented, siloed, integrated, aligned, or resonant. Okay? And in this Stack Health Mandala, we have various colors that are associated with each state of that stack or substack. Okay? So resonant is essentially the state or level that we want to get to, where essentially it's fixed. It's something that sort of stands the test of time, and other people are inspired by that unique combination of tools or stack and want to replicate it. Fragmented is essentially when you have a group of tools that don't really work together, right? And they're causing more issues than not. And so often with clients, I'm looking to get their stacks to an aligned state, and but there are layers to this, okay? So as I was mentioning, with that original goal of, say, building a website with AI, let's just say that the initial substack is fragmented, Okay, so using a whole bunch of tools, none of them integrate, right? They're at that level. The next layer up might be like, okay, I want to start prototyping. So I want to use Lovable, Bolt.u, V0, all of these different tools. But again, most of them might not actually talk to each other. So I might say these are fragmented. Okay. Next layer up is I might want to publish. Okay. So this could be put up onto Vercel or somewhere of the sort. And maybe my options I'm using or exploring less tools there. And let's just say that layer is actually integrated. Okay. Then, and I'm going to put all these just to there, just to make this easier. Okay. And I'll hide the lines. Okay. So then on layer 4, we might get to say payments and say, I only really know Stripe. So we'll say that these are aligned. Okay. And then finally, for the final layer, this is where maybe let's say for a database or something of the sort, right? This also is very well integrated. Okay. So what ends up happening is each of these layers, based on their health, their stack health color, will provide you with a visual of where that stack is overall for that goal or scenario, right? And the idea here is that this should provide people with a quick scan of the stack related to that goal or workflow, and what state it is in currently. Okay, and this again is what I'm using to help people get from one state to an ideal state. And say that ideal state is aligned, then ideally we want to have a full stack that looks maybe like this. Okay, and if we had like a really awesome stack, right, then it would start to look more like this. All right, so this is all of it together. And of course, if each layer, though, is completely fragmented, then it's going to look something like this. But the reality is there's nuance, right? So for a quick scan, we'll have these base colors. But actually, if you take the profile test, and again, if you want to learn more about this, just go to consciousstackdesign.com. And the full profile test, will essentially take you through everything that's needed to be known around your sort of your business, the workflows, the processes, the tools, and then it'll provide you with a stack profile, which you can use to actually make better decisions around which particular AI tools you should be incorporating based on your natural stacks, right? Because essentially your current stack is saying a lot about you, but most of us, again, are not aware or conscious of the state of that stack and what it's saying about us. And then you can choose where you want to go. All right. So here, right, so this tool will often be available for certified practitioners, partners, or those who are at the elite level for our membership. And they'll be able to get these sort of visuals, right? But I use this with clients. And so you'll notice here there's a simple versus advanced. And the reason why there's advanced is because when you take the profile test, each layer will actually be divided into multiple quadrants. And so the nuance is that, you might actually have various states that your stack is in on each of these quadrants. Okay. And again, if you want to learn more about this, just go to consciousstackdesign.com. But I thought I'd share this with you just so that you can see how Conscious Stack Design is being built to help people become more aware and conscious of the digital tools that are impacting them on a day-to-day basis. And through this, you can also use it to help others fix essentially the cognitive layer, what I like to call layer 0, that actually comes before bringing on new tools. Because CSD addresses the issue that I've experienced with many, that we're all kind of sitting at different cognitive levels when it comes to integrating anything new or integrating any new tools, right? If you look at digital transformation projects, a lot of times people are not taking this into account, but it's been the hidden, invisible layer that I've noticed time and time again, but hadn't found a word or a language for it until I created CSD. So my goal or mission is to provide everybody with a language for this hidden invisible layer that is impacting us on a day-to-day basis, and so that we can see our stack more consciously. All right. If you have any questions, let me know. There is a free quiz or a full paid profile test for $97. And if you're wanting some one-to-one time with me to really dive into your results, then that option is also available. Until next time, speak soon.